Hey everybody, Eric here with a big book haul video. The title of this video might be a little deceptive because I believe I'm going to just call it Holiday Book Haul. But I didn't actually receive any of these books as gifts. This is all just stuff that was bought with gift cards and holiday pay, essentially. I went a little nuts. This is a lot of books in a short period of time, which is probably why I'm generally poor, because I spend all my money on books. But what are you going to do? Let me reach over here. This is going to be broken down into three parts. See if I can grab this pile and set it down without causing... There we go. I think we're safe. Okay, so part one is a trip to half-price books. This is the stuff I got there. And we're going to start with Dominion by Bentley Little. Nice little paperback. They had a bunch of hardbacks by Bentley Little as well that I was tempted to pick up, but I ended up getting a bunch of other stuff and I couldn't get everything. I always want everything, can't get everything. So Dominion, Bentley Little, as well as The Revelation by Bentley Little. I'm told this is his first novel. So we'll see. We'll see how his old stuff is. Also got The Restaurant at the End of the Universe by Douglas Adams and So Long and Thanks for All the Fish by Douglas Adams, all part of the Hitchhiker's Guide series. I'm looking for these covers, and so I have the original book. I'm missing Life, the Universe, and Everything. Now I have these two. And then I need Mostly Harmless, I believe. But I like these covers, the originals. At least to me, they're the originals. So, hilarious series. None as funny as the original book, but still well worth reading and rereading. Then I got a decent copy of The Dark Half by Stephen King. Not in horrible shape. A Stephen King book I have not read. I tried it once. It bored the hell out of me. But it may have been my mood. This was actually this is the book that made me give up on Stephen King for the longest time. But now I'm back in, and I'm trying to go back and fill in my Stephen King gaps, as it were. So I picked this up so that I can do that. We got a little nonfiction here. South Park and Philosophy, Bigger, Longer, and More Penetrating, cobbled together by Richard Hanley. And this is from Open Court. I've read this one. It's one of the earliest, I believe, of the pop culture and philosophy. Yeah, maybe not. Trying to find it on the list. Yeah, either way, interesting stuff. Now, hold on, there's more. The Ultimate South Park and Philosophy, Respect My Philosopher. And this is from Wiley Blackwell Books. So, completely different publisher, going to have different essays. And I believe these are the guys that usually put the Ultimate. So, the other publisher will do, like they did Star Wars, and then these guys did the Ultimate Star Wars and Philosophy. Same with Star Trek. There might be others, I don't know, but have not read this one, so it'll be interesting. Hopefully. But I love these pop culture and philosophy books. Then I got a shit ton of comics. So let's start with these. And this is The Sixth Gun, Book 2. Crossroads, written by Cullen Bunn. The Sixth Gun, Book 3. Bound, written by Cullen Bunn. And The Sixth Gun, Book 4, A Town Called Penance, written by Cullen Bunn. All the art by Brian Hurt. I have Volume 1. So I was able to get Volumes 2, 3, and 4. I think they had Volume 7 and like 8 or so, I don't know, some random ones which I may regret not picking up at the time. But Sixth Gun, great story as far as I have read, which is at least the stuff in the first trade paperback. I used to get it every month, but then I stopped getting comics for a while, so a lot of this I have not read, but really interesting horror western. And it's Cullen Bunn. I love Cullen Bunn's stuff. I grabbed this because it was half price, even though it has that thing that I dislike so much. This is Resident Alien Omnibus Volume 1. I do not like these circles, now a sci-fi original series. I loved the series, Season 1 anyway. Season 2 starts soon. So I want to read the comic. I want to see where it came from. I hear it's quite different, but I'll find out myself when I read this. Then we have Checkmate, A King's Game, written by Greg Rucka, which is the main reason I picked this up. And this is, it's like Checkmate 1 through 7. And I love Greg Rucka as a comic book writer, as an author of novels, everything. So I tend to pick up what he's putting down. And this is espionage, superhero espionage stuff. Batman Tarzan, Claws of the Catwoman, from Dark Horse and DC, written by Ron Mars. How could I not? It's Tarzan and Batman. I feel like I was getting these when they first came out and maybe never finished it because I stopped buying comics. But definitely something I'm going to read soon. Planet Heist, or Adam Strange, Planet Heist. It's by Andy Diggle, Pascal Ferry, who's an artist I love. Love Pascal Ferry's work. Adam Strange is an interesting character, a man of two worlds, a normal Earth man, and then he gets transported to another planet where he becomes a superhero. And this is something I've never read this story before. So, yeah, had to grab it. Let's save this one for last. Let's move that to the bottom of the pile. All right, this is, depending on whether you read the front or the side, I'm going to go with the side, Marvel 1872. I didn't realize that this was a War Zones book, which is part of the Secret Wars from a few years ago, like the third Secret Wars, I guess depends on how you look at it. Then they did a bunch of these War Zones miniseries. So this is the Avengers Marvel characters in 1872. So sort of a sequel-ish. Well, that's not really right, but a companion to Neil Gaiman's, whatever the hell that book is called. I can't see from here. You know, Neil Gaiman did the thing where the Marvel characters were in like Victorian England. I don't know why I can't think of the title of it. But anyway, this is Marvel characters in the Old West. Jerry Dugan is the writer. I know there's a spin-off series. This also has a reprint of Avengers number 80 and material from Marvel Comics Presents number 170 because of the character Red Wolf. I believe we have Red Wolf's first appearance. But I'm interested in reading this. I liked the Neil Gaiman book that I just cannot. I've mentioned this in the other videos I recorded today. I have a migraine, so my brain is not quite working correctly. So I'm going to blame that for my inability to think of that Neil Gaiman book. But anyway, there you go. Picked that up from Half Price Books. Then we have Dark Shadows Vampirilla from Dynamite. I like Vampirilla. I was never a huge Dark Shadows fan. I've not seen the Johnny Depp movie. I believe I've seen an episode or two of the original show. But it's always fun to cross characters over. So we have Barnabas Collins and Vampirella. And I think this was just a straight up mini-series. Yeah, Dark Shadows Vampirella 1 through 5, it looks like. You know, sometimes these things take place in the middle of a series. But this was its own standalone mini. It'll be fun to read, I think. And then the thing I saved, because this is something that I read back in the day, but I've never owned a copy of this story. And this is Batman, A Death in the Family. But this also contains the 5-part follow-up story, A Lonely Place of Dying. So just so you know, this has Batman 426 through 429, 440 through 442, New Teen Titans 60 and 61, and a 2006 follow-up story from Batman Annual 25. So this, of course, is the death of Jason Todd. This is when voters, people, were given a number. I don't know if it's in here. But at the end of one of the issues, there was a number to call. You could call and vote on whether you wanted Robin to live or die. And, yep, there it is. You could decide. And apparently, I've read some things about this. Apparently, readers wanted Jason Todd to be dead. And the reason this is important to me is because I'm a huge fan of Red Hood, who is the, spoilers, resurrected Jason Todd. So sort of for my Red Hood collection, I have to have this book to fill in my Red Hood stuff. And they had this nice copy at Half Price Books. So that's it for the Half Price book stuff. That's a lot of stuff. But then I went to Barnes & Noble. Didn't get quite as much stuff. I had to set this stuff over here. So I don't know. I'm going to move it over to here so that I can put it back to where I got it. And this is just from smallest to largest. So maybe I should do this in reverse order so that when I stack them, you know what I'm saying? So let's do that. Let's move this over here. Hopefully that won't fall down. So let's start with this big honking book. Untold Horror. This is from Dark Horse, of all places, the comic book publisher. And this is a bunch of interviews with people about unmade horror movie sequels. Or just movies. Most incredible genre movies never made. So it says take a deep dive into development hell to find the most compelling horror films that never were. From unmade Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street, and Reanimator sequels, to H.R. Geiger passion projects, to alternate takes on legendary franchises such as Frankenstein, Dracula, and Jaws. So that's right up my alley. I love reading about movie stuff. This is filled with concept art and script pages and photos and all sorts of great stuff. I plan on digging into this relatively soon. We'll see. So yeah, they had that at Barnes & Noble. Had to grab it. And then, whoops, things are getting caught on things. The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. A lot of people praising it. Got a Stephen King blurb right on the front. A bunch of great people praising it on the back. It's been on my list for ever since I first heard about it. And it was the right time. Things came together. It was on the shelf, Barnes & Noble. I had a little money, so it was time to grab this. Another one that I'm very much looking forward to checking out. Man, all these. I want to read everything right now. Confessions of a Puppet Master. Charles Band and Adam Felber. So this is Charles Band, the guy behind Empire and Full Moon, maker of Puppet Master, Demonic Toys, Trancers. So many low-budget movies. Some that I love. Some are horrible. I actually read a book. It came from the video aisle, I feel like was the name of it. that was a sort of an outsider's history of Full Moon. So now this is the story from Charles Band himself. And I another one. I just want to jump right into this because I love some of these movies. Not a fan of some of these movies, but I want to hear what Charles Band has to say. I've met him a couple of times. Seemed like a nice guy. All right, here's a book I wish I'd had earlier because I would have read it in December for my sort of holiday horror and such themed books. But this is Sherlock Holmes, The Three Winter Terrors by James Lovegrove. It's what it sounds like, 3 Sherlock Holmes winter holiday themed stories with possibly a supernatural bent to them. I'm a huge fan of James Lovegrove. He does all sorts of great stuff. He's really good at writing Sherlock Holmes things. This fits along with a couple of other books, same cover design and everything. I've read one of those so far. So definitely these are, like, James Lovegrove is a must-buy for me. And when it's Sherlock Holmes, all the better. Then a little surprise. It was weird to find on the shelf. It seems like the kind of thing that was someone found in a warehouse or something. This is The House by Bentley Little. Just a mass market paperback from back in the day. So it was very odd to find this. And what's the original copyright on this thing? 1999. But getting into Bentley Little, so had to pick this up. He's got a brand new one out from Cemetery Dance. Can't wait to get that one. And then I decided to get back into reading novelizations. So they happen to have these on the shelf. We have Halloween by John Pasarella. This is the 2018 Halloween, a novelization. And Halloween Kills by Tim Waggoner. I'm not going to read this one till I see the movie. Whenever it comes out on Blu-ray, I'll pick it up and watch it, and then I can read this. But I've seen this movie, so I can read this book. And as you'll see shortly, yeah, I'm jumping into the novelization game again. I used to read them a lot back in the day, all sorts of different types of novelizations. Now I'm kind of focused on horror novelizations. So that was it for Barnes & Noble. Now we have Amazon. Whew, another giant pile. So, how are we going to do this? I'm going to grab this. I'm going to flip it over. Because again, it was with the biggest on the bottom. So I want to put them back the way they were. So this is a bunch of stuff I ordered from Amazon. There's actually two books not here. They have not arrived yet. I'll tell you what they are at the end of this. Excuse me just a moment. Getting a little dry in the throat. All right, let's jump right in. So we have Firefly, Carnival by Una McCormick. I believe this is the 6th Firefly novel. And while I'm not a huge fan of Mr. Joss Whedon currently, based on stories of his behavior, I love Firefly, and James Lovegrove has written a bunch of these, so I am picking these up. Great cover. New Firefly novel. All right, so we're going to grab these two together. I posted about this on Twitter, that Jeff Strand, I called him a con artist because he'll write a book, a fantastic book, and then a decade or so later he'll come out with a sequel and he'll reprint the original book with a matching cover, and then someone like me, who's a crazy person, has to buy another copy of the original book so that the covers match. But it's well worth it, and I just pass on the copies I have to my nephew. But, so I got Pressure. This is the new copy of the old book, original 2005, original copyright. So I've read Pressure. I had the hardback of it that they actually had at Borders when I was a brand new Jeff Strand fan. I found that at Borders. I read it. I had the leisure paperback copy. I sent the hardback to somebody in Canada who was collecting hardback Jeff Strand and couldn't find it, so I just sent them my copy because I had a leisure copy. Now that I have this, I gave my leisure copy to my nephew. The reason I got this, because the long-awaited sequel, Deathless, has come out. So, you can see them side by side. Huge Jeff Strand fan. Loved Pressure. Looking forward to reading Deathless. Something a little different. Swashbucklers by, who is this by? Dan Hanks from Angry Robot Books. Let's see the keywords. They have parenting hacks, candy caning, boss fight, playing with power. But basically, this is about a dude who, as a kid, was a hero. He and his friends saved his town from some horror. Now he's a single parent trying to do the single parenting thing, and a horror has returned to his town, and he has to, I don't know, get the old band back together, as it were. Not sure. But it sounded like a lot of fun, and I read the prologue on Amazon, and there's something that happens in the prologue that made me say, yes, absolutely, I want to read this book. And it's a cool cover. So there you go. All right. This is a must-buy, just because of the author. This is Oracle of Ghosts by J.H. Moncrieff. Death Zone Books. This is part of the Ghost Writers series, if I'm not mistaken. It's got the same cover and everything. Same cover design. So, yeah, love J.H. Moncrieff. I'm going to buy anything she writes. Ghost Writer series has been good, what I've read so far. So, of course, I'm going to pick this up and add it to the ever-growing pile of wonderful books by J.H. Moncrieff. Check out her stuff if you have not. All right, here we go. Some novelization time. This is Wishmaster, the novelization by Christian Francis. So this publisher, Encyclopocalypse, hopefully I've said that correctly, they've been putting out Encyclopocalypse. Yeah, they've been putting out novelizations of a ton of horror stuff. Now, I don't know. I know some are new reprints or new editions of old stuff that has been novelized. I don't know if they're, if this is a new novelization or if it's a reprint of an old novelization. I don't know if Wishmaster had one back in the day. You know what I'm saying? But either way, it's nice to be able to get my hands on these things. So, Wishmaster, the novelization. Then we have Terraforming Mars in the Shadow of Damos. Jane Killick is the author. This is from Aconite Press. Terraforming Mars is a very, very, very popular board game that I have not played because I don't have anyone to play such a massive engine building, I believe it's engine building game with. If I could find some people to play with, I would be playing this game. And there's a smaller version now called Expedition Ares or Ares Expedition something that maybe I'll be able to get to the table. But either way, Aconite's been doing good stuff and great books based on board games. So, I had to pick this up. I think there's already another one available for pre-order from Terraforming Mars. And speaking of Aconite books, one of the latest in their Arkham Horror series, Cult of the Spider Queen by S.A. Sitter. I apologize, I'm horrible at pronouncing names. But I think at this point now there's only one of the Arkham Horrors that I don't have, which is a reprint of novellas that were put out with cards for the game or cards for the card game, but I've read some of those already, and unfortunately that sort of like, I don't need to buy that yet because I've already read some of it. I haven't read all of it though, so I do need to pick that up. But I think outside of that one, at this point, I have all of their Aconite Arkham Horror stuff, and it's always a good time. Girl on Fire by Gemma Amore. And I don't know who this is from, but either way, great author. Need to pick, trying to pick up more and more of her stuff. As a matter of fact, coincidentally, she has a book coming out from Angry Robot in 2022. You know, I just mentioned them a few books ago. So yeah, definitely supporting an up-and-coming, is that the right way to put it? Supporting a great author. I mean, I want to support all great authors, but she's got Angry Robot's not a big 5 publisher, but it's a bigger publisher. So anyway, love that cover. Looking forward to that. Let's see. Then we have Cinnamon Kiss by Walter Mosley. This is an Easy Rollins book. Generally, whenever I order from Amazon, I throw in an Easy Rollins and a Rewinder die. So I'm slowly building my Easy Rollins collection. And this was the next one on the list. Back to some Sherlock Holmes. And this is The Back to Front Murder by Tim Major. I love these covers. This is from Titan Books. I mean, there's so much Sherlock Holmes stuff out there that I've had to focus. And so my focus is on sort of this series. I keep looking over here. I have a huge stack. They all have the same logo, the same fonts, the same feel. Bunch of different authors. But if I just concentrate on these and don't worry about all the other tons of Sherlock Holmes stuff that's coming out, I mean, there's always going to be exceptions, but so this is just the latest one. So it's going to go on that stack over there. And he's got another one coming out after this. I don't think I'm missing any from this series. It's hard to keep track of everything. Speaking of series, let's see. All right, let's start with this one. Dead Eyes by Evie Knight. This is number 18 in the Rewind or Die series. As I said, whenever I order Amazon, I add one of these to the order. They've all been, the ones I've read so far, have been a lot of fun. They're quick, easy, fun, sort of retro horror novels. Dancing on the Edge of a Blade by Todd Rigney, number 19 in the Rewind or Die. This is the extended director's cut, apparently. And again, ordered it because all this stuff was actually 2 Amazon orders. And someday I may do a video just sort of focusing on all these Rewind or Die books. And then last but not least, and possibly the book I'm going to read next, Reanimator, the novelization by Jeff Rovin. Again, Encyclopocalypse is the publisher. Encyclopocalypse. That is difficult for me to say. Another horror movie novelization, obviously, which is always interesting since you have a movie very loosely based on some H.P. Lovecraft short stories, and then you have the novelization of that movie that's based on other stories. So that's that. Now, the 2 that I did not get yet, for whatever reason, I don't know why, they're both a little slower, was Fright Night novelization by John Skipp and Craig Spector. Now, this is their first novel, so it's an old book. I ordered the new Encyclopocalypse edition of it. I I used to have the original novelization back in the day. But that was sort of the inspiration for me ordering the Reanimator and the Wishmaster and digging into all of this. Janine Pipe, great author, publisher, editor, wonderful person, posted her sort of Christmas and birthday hauls and had the Fright Night novelization on there. And I was like, oh yeah, I've been meaning to get that. So I went and ordered a bunch of stuff. So that one's supposed to arrive on Wednesday. And then I have to pull out my little notebook here because I had to, excuse me, one of the Walter Mosley Easy Rollins books I had to order used, and that is Little Scarlet. Could not find a new copy. Had to order it used, and those usually take more time because it's just some person throwing it in a box and sending it to me. All right. Holy crap, this is a long video. But that's a lot of books. So, we'll just wrap it up. Of all of this stuff, what books interest you the most? That is the question for this video. I'm not even going to... I've rambled on about all of this stuff. Like I said, I think I'm going to read Reanimator as my next book, and then maybe I'll jump into Untold Horrors. I don't know, because I want to read it all right now. What interests you out of all of this stuff? All right, that's it. If you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put them in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post spoiler warning. We try to be polite here on my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronin5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is ErikSmith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH5757. That is all I have for you at this time. So until next time, read more books.